going on, everybody? It's Jeff the IT guy, and today we're here with something a little bit different than what we normally do here on the channel. So normally we talk about professional things, we talk about hardware and how it can be used for professional use, content creation, coding, job stuff, right? I do a lot of tutorials about how to take an interview, whether it's in person or a phone interview, how to land a job, things of that nature, and tutorials, of different sorts of things in technology. But one of my favorite pastimes is gaming. And gaming goes along with, hardware, of course. It's how I really got started in the tech industry was, because of my love for gaming and computer hardware. And so today we're going to be talking about the Ryzen 5 1600 AF. And so this right here is it's not really reproduction, but it is another run of what they call the Ryzen 5 1600, except it's built on the the Zen Plus architecture nodes. And so it's at 12 nanometer versus 14 like the normal 1600 was. And so that gives it a little bit of a instructions per clock or an IPC uptick. And so it's 6 core, 12 threads, and it has a boost of 3.6 gigahertz. That is the maximum boost on it. You can't use PDO on it, or PBO, and what that is Precision Boost Overdrive. However, you can overclock it. And I did not overclock for this video because I figured this is a budget part. It's only $85. And so if you're looking for, something that's 85 bucks, you're probably not going to go out and buy a $100 water cooler or air cooler so that you can overclock your $85 part. You're probably just going to plug it in, use the included heatsink, and start gaming. Right, so let's talk about the test rig. So the test rig, we've got 1600 AF. We've paired it up with an Gigabyte Aorus B450M motherboard. It's also a budget-oriented motherboard. It's got 16 gigs of DDR4 Flare X by G.Skill RAM, and that is at 3200 megahertz. It's CL or CAS latency 16. And I've actually cooled it with an X52 and NZXT X52 water cooler, just so I didn't come in like any sort of thermal issues. And running everything off of an NVMe drive for the operating system, and the graphics card is an RTX 2060 Super, which is probably overkill for someone who's building a budget build, but it's what I had on hand. So I had the 2060 Super on hand, and I thought it would give a pretty good show of actually what you could do with it, with this processor. And so every test is done at 1080p with the ultra settings, or the high settings. I will tell you though, that with this part and a 2060 Super, you can do 1440p gaming. You don't have to stick at 1080p. You can actually do 1440p gaming. And so some of the tests I did just for myself, I did in 1440p. And so I've done, I think it was like 5 games or something like that, 5 or 6, 7 games. So let's talk about what games we played. So we played Modern Warfare, World of Warcraft, Star Wars Fallen Jedi, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Witcher 3, and Destiny 2. And so these are all AAA titles, and it gives us a wide range of, first-person shooters versus action versus, RPG, etc. It just covers a wide breadth, I didn't do anything like League of Legends because it's going to stomp League of Legends, So let's talk about the performance then. Let's get into it, these numbers. I know that's what you're wanting to hear. Right, and so in Call of Duty Modern Warfare at 1080p, high settings, the highest frames that I've seen were 150. The lowest I've seen were 120. And the average was 138. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. With World of Warcraft, everything maxed out. The highest I've seen was 50. The lowest I've seen was 40. And the average was 45. And you're probably thinking to yourself, World of Warcraft, what? Why didn't it throw up, 100 or whatever? World of Warcraft and most MMORPGs really care about core clock versus the amount of cores. And so something, I did a video about this a long time ago, many years ago, Something that has a higher core clock with a faster IPC, something like a 9900K, is going to, at 5 gigahertz, is going to do a lot better than, say, a 16 core from AMD that has, a core clock of 4.1 gigahertz or 4 or something. Even though the IPC is closing, and in some cases it's higher than what Intel's is, it does like that core speed. In Star Wars 1080 high settings, I've seen a high of 70, a low of 44, and an average of 60. That's pretty awesome. That creates a really nice gaming experience in Star Wars, which is a great game. It's a very pretty game. In Witcher 3 1080p Ultra, high of 83, a low of 59, and an average of 74. And so when playing The Witcher 3, though, I did notice some, I'll call it stuttering. I think it was really mostly load time issues, I do believe, because I was running it off of a hard drive instead of an SSD. But I only seen that whenever, you were starting to load into a new area, there was just a little bit of stuttering. Destiny 2 at 1080p, the high was 134, low was 100, and the average was 124. And so, as you can see, this is a very, very capable chip for $85. It's amazing to see how far we've come with CPU architecture. To think that nowadays we can get something that's got 6 cores, 12 threads, and can pump out frames like this in today's modern titles with an average video card. I mean, I wouldn't call the $400 2060 Super average by any means. That's where the high tier used to be. Like when it used to be like the 6970s and the 580s and things like that, they were in that $400 to $500 range. And now kind of that sweet spot is, $500 or $400, whatever it is. So that being said, though, this is a great chip, and you can throw together a really nice PC for not a whole lot of dough, right? Now, if you wanted to skip on the 2060 Super, you could always go with something like a 1660, a 5500 XT, the 5600 XT. But if you got the 5600 XT and it wasn't on sale, but you found a 5700 that was on sale, you'd be better, spending the extra $30 to get the 5700. You can, like I said, 1600, the 1600 Ti, or the 2060 KO, all in that sort of anywhere between $200 to $400, $300 range. If you were just looking for esports, you could get the 5500 XT 4 gig instead of 8 gig, and that's in like the $180 range. You could get a 1650 or a 1650 Ti, be in that range as well. And then you'd be great for esports. You'd be rocking esports all day long, and you can even play AAA titles at 1080p as well. And so this has been my review of the 1600. Stay tuned, because we are going to be reviewing the 3100 coming out, the Ryzen 5 3100, as well as the 3300X when they release in May. That's going to be really super exciting. It's been a while since we've seen a quad core from AMD. It's actually been since the 1200 or the first gen. And so that's going to be awesome. So stay tuned. We're going to look at it. We've also got reviews of the iPad Pro coming, an iPad Pro versus MacBook Air. We got an iPad Air review. There's all sorts of stuff that's going to be happening on the channel. So subscribe and hit the like button. Hit your bell icon. Stay tuned. Listen, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff on the channel, and I want you all there for me as well. Also, if you want to leave a comment, leave me a comment. Have you purchased a 1600 AF? If you have, tell me, did you like it? Are you in love with it? Is it doing everything you need? Also, they just released the 1200 AF and the 1300 AF, or the 1500 AF as well, which are in the $50 to $70 range. I'm thinking about picking up some of those and giving those a shot and seeing how they compare maybe to the 1200 and the 1500 of yesteryear. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you're staying safe out there. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.